Nico Fulmer and Henry Milan from Casa Colina talking about the groundbreaking cutting research that they have at Casa Colina. Right? Give them a warm brain injury welcome. Yeah! What's going on, Nico?
Oh, right. Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you, Casa Colina.
Again, my name is Nico. I work here at Casa Colina. I'm a research coordinator at Casa Colina, and right next to me we have Lewis, who's an occupational therapist in our acute inpatient rehab unit. So just today, I kind of wanted to go over briefly what Casa Colina is, what we do here, and then we'll go into a little bit about our assistive technology lab, which we're standing in right now, and we'll have Lewis demonstrate some of the assessments that we do for the patients here at Casa Colina. And I know last week you guys had Goodwill speak to you guys regarding assistive technology, so we thought this would be a good transition and hopefully add on to that presentation that you guys heard from. Let me close the door here just so there's going to be traffic coming by. So yeah, a little bit about Casa Colina. We are located in Pomona. That's our main campus. We are a 99-bed hospital with 68 beds in the inpatient acute rehab unit and 24 beds, I believe, in our medical surgical wing, as well as an intensive care unit, which, do you know how many rooms we have in our ICU?
No, I don't. I don't know.
Don't have the exact number there, but we do have inpatient services as well as outpatient services, a transitional living center, which a lot of our patients, if their insurance is approved, they'll transfer over there and have extensive therapy, whether it be through our residential program or a day treatment program at Casa Colina. And some of our outpatient services include physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, as well as land and pool therapy that we offer to patients here. There's also a children's service center here on campus, as well as a location in Azusa where we do all those same outpatient therapies that I just mentioned. A little bit more of some of the programs that our outpatient offers. We do have a driving training program, which I can send over some additional information about, as well as assistive technology evaluation program, which we'll go into a little bit more depth with Lewis right now and talk about how that program works and what type of therapy you would work with the therapist there. I do want to make this kind of open-ended, and feel free to ask any questions throughout. We are presenting off an iPad here in the AT lab, so if I miss anything that comes up in the chat, just please feel free to stop us, and we can hopefully answer any questions as we're kind of going through this whole process of Casa Colina.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. So if you have questions, just go ahead and interrupt.
Yeah, so I'm gonna let Lewis talk a little bit about some of the patient population that we work with here in the inpatient rehab unit, and then we'll kind of switch the camera around and show some of the fun things that we have in our assistive technology lab.
Cool. Thanks, Nico. So yeah, my name is Lewis again. I've been working here for like 7 years. My primarily team is a spinal cord injury team, but yeah, like Nico said, we accept a lot of different kinds of patients with different diagnoses, like brain injury, stroke, even like orthopedic surgeries, like hip surgeries, knee surgeries, of course, spinal cord injury, but basically anything. Like we even get like patients with like debility, or more recently with the COVID recovered patients. Anybody who has deficits from their prior level of being independent, we accept. And then especially for the assistive technology department, we just try to, we target it from all areas, like, patients who have more like, even if it's like more attention based, then we provide that kind of assistance for like accessing the technologies that they have to. But we do, I think here we typically do more like physical disabilities, like, let's say if like a patient can't use half of their body, like on their left side, we'll try to make sure that they could still be independent with managing the computer, the environment of like the lights, the temperature in their house, with that disability in mind. Yeah, so we have all sorts of cool gadgets here, and I haven't really done the evaluation. It's really more done with another therapist named Melissa. Like she's off on her maternity leave right now, but I've helped her a couple times. But it's same as any other evaluation. We just figure out what your capabilities are, and then we build a goal together, and then we go into more introducing different equipments and trying it out, and then see what works for you guys. So it's kind of like a trial and error, and then just kind of putting our professional input to make sure everything is as safe and efficient as possible. I don't know what else to add on to that, but we can start showing the stuff.
Yeah, so I'll just kind of turn the camera around and show Lewis demonstrating some of our devices here in the lab. So this is the lab, which is located in the inpatient rehab unit.
Yeah, I'll start off with a computer then. Like a lot of people do email, like, working on their financial management and all that, or just, surfing the web. But we get a lot of patients who have, not enough dexterity to manage a regular mouse, moving it and then clicking it. So we go from like as low tech as possible. So one of the example will be this roller mouse where the patient doesn't have to worry about aiming and clicking at the same time. So it's more like, moving the ball and then clicking, left click, right click, scrolling. So it could be as basic as that to something super high tech like this. We call it the Tetra mouse. So it's not really connected right now, but you basically scroll and click with your mouth or your chin, and it clicks. It should click too. Click, left click, right click, and then you use it like a joystick, but you use it, or you move it without your hand. It just your lips and then your chin. And then I actually had a patient who was a quadriplegic or tetraplegic patient who really had no movement other than his head and his face. So he used this Tetra mouse, and then he actually made something really cool right here. So it's like a sign that he built. Like he actually cut and pasted different photographs and then put it together, and then added text to it and all. He made it for us. So he did all that with his mouse, basically, with the Tetra mouse. So, but like he would have never known about this unless he came here. So it's really a lot of the coolest part of here is that we get to show you guys like what is available right now. I wouldn't say we're like completely up to date, but I think we have a good amount of stuff to try different things. There's even like this guy right here, which is where you could just rest your hand more, and then again, like removing the component of having to have that dexterity to move the mouse and aim. We just kind of like, what do you call it? Break it apart a little bit to make it more individual techniques and individualized parts.
Yeah.
And then we also have the what do you call it? Head motion detector system where you just move the cursor with just a head movement too. And then how you control it is by clicking while dwelling on something. So if I move my head with the sensor on, or like a pointer, and then the sensor catches it, and then you hover over it, and then you just dwell on it, it'll click it. So we have this guy. It's called Natural Point, but there's also another one called the Glass House, like glasses and mouse put together. And then that we put charging right now. Yeah. Yeah, so this guy's really cool too. And it comes with the clicker that you bite. So this is a separate device from that one that's attached to the screen right now. But yeah, so this is another one where it just connects to the Bluetooth, and then you click with the bite clicker. So it's more geared towards people who don't have, much arm movement. It works really well. We also have the Tobii Dynabox right here, but that one's like more like eye gaze system. I'm not too familiar with that one, but we do have a specialist with the Tobii, which is usually the speech therapist. So that's the cool part about Casa. We, it's not just one person, but we kind of gather different specialists and, people who are good at like more of the manual stuff, like figuring out what kind of mouse is best and all. Or it could be the speech therapist that's more geared towards like cognitive, like communication, focusing on communication. Or like, physical therapists, they focus on the wheelchair, power chair, how to make sure that person could safely drive and change their positions on a power wheelchair. So we gather different knowledges from different disciplines, all in the same place.
That's great.
Otherwise, we also have the Xbox adaptive controller too. And then we have the switch for it. So the coolest thing is, with this guy is like people who can't really hold on to a controller and like press all the buttons, you could just, break it apart into every single switch that a controller has. And then we could put individual switches that the patient can manipulate. We have more.
Any questions so far? I know we're going through a lot so far.
Yeah.
The mobile arm support. So I like to use this guy. It's in the box right now, called the Jayco. But a lot of people, don't have enough like arm strength to like lift up their arms and do all the things that they have to do to like click and manipulate the switches and all. So the mobile arm support kind of takes out the gravity out of the equation. It supports the arm. You could attach it to the table or like on your chair, but it helps the patients like lift up their arm easier. So that's something that we try out too. Yeah. Otherwise, I might have missed some stuff, but yeah, I'll take questions.
I have a question. I was wondering, have you guys done or started to do any work with virtual reality headsets?
Oh, okay. So yeah, that's something we don't have. Yeah, but I'm definitely interested though. Yeah,
Okay.
I think we ran out of money before we got there.
I understand. But the reason I ask is because I'm a quadriplegic. I've regained a lot of my motor functions except my right hand.
Mhm.
And so I was wondering, since you wouldn't have the answer, but I was wondering if you would have had any experience working with the controllers of the VR headset. But I guess when you do get one, maybe.
Yeah, I have played around with it myself. Like I've seen the controller. Like, are you talking about like Oculus? Like,
Yeah, the Quest. I have a Quest.
yeah, I just don't know how I would make it adapted. Like maybe.
I know, and that's what I was wondering also because I mean I can hold it and swing my arm around, but then pressing the buttons is not possible. So
I
that's
feel
one of the difficult things that I was kind of considering how would you adjust it to give button pressing control to just one hand? But
Yeah.
I mean I can't imagine.
Like maybe the bite switch that you were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, but just for one hand specifically.
So my thinking is like if it is possible, like I'm not sure with the Quest because Quest is like wireless. There's like really not much like ports that you could like hardwire something,
Mm-hmm.
But let's say if it was like a different Oculus that's like more like connected to a computer,
The Rift.
then we might be able to put like an adapter that'll connect to something like the adaptive controller because it's labeled as Xbox, but it would work with Windows too. So maybe connecting this to because for us to connect the Xbox adaptive controller, we to like a PS4 or even like Nintendo Switch is possible,
Mhm.
but you need like a different adapter that connects to it, like through like Bluetooth.
Yeah, you had a question, Amra?
Thank you, Daniel. I wanted to know, I just wanted him to say what he said already, and that was for sure, if we choose to take part in this program, that you have to sign, the contract and everything, and you must finish it from beginning to end, and that includes getting something surgically put into your brain. Is that what I'm understanding?
So this is one of the studies, and this is a little bit different than the other studies that I'll kind of go into. But yes, for that one it is. an implant, of course, there's an extensive consent and a screening. It's they have a lot of different people on the team, from the neurosurgeon to the clinicians that are involved in the study. And like I said,
there's a lot of studies. We're going to be talking about a lot of different studies. So as those come up, Tyson will come at the end to really get.
Yeah. So actually, we have Tyson here. He's from Caltech. So if you guys want to direct those questions to him, he'll be more than happy to answer them for you.
Great.
I guess my question first and foremost is that's mainly for spinal cord injury, not for traumatic brain injury?
It depends kind of on the details. So for those general kinds of questions, we'd want to kind of refer to the neurosurgeon, because there might be some reasons why a particular person with a particular kind of traumatic brain injury would be appropriate or not. And so I think that's on a kind of case-by-case study. So the most general kind of criteria is paralysis, so that a person cannot, really can't move below the level of their shoulders, and especially their hands and arms and legs in kind of real functional ways. So we have mainly a kind of functional criteria. And then in terms of the exact, reason there's that paralysis, then it really kind of gets into talking to the neurosurgeons and the clinical team to see if that particular person's appropriate.